Mr. Thabo Moloi. Before you came in, I was doing your intro about who you are, what you do, and what you're all about.
Yeah.
And we are very honored to have you here in studio with us.
No, thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, man. And just, give us a brief, tell us a bit about yourself, and just to give people an idea of who you are.
Sure.
And what you're about.
Yeah, well, my name is Thabo Moloi.
Yeah.
I grew up for Oslo. And, when you grow up in the hood, you are faced with a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
But, there was something always inside of me that pushed me to reach for more.
Yeah.
Reach for more in terms of opportunities, reach for more in terms of creating opportunities even for others.
Yeah.
So it's always been an innate ambition in myself to really be the best that I can be. And it pushed me to excel at school. It pushed me to, open up doors for myself in the corporate spaces. And I've always used whatever I have to learn as much as possible, bring myself and do the best I can. And all the experiences that I've accumulated, I've always told myself, to whom much is given, much is expected.
True. Yeah.
So I've always been business-minded, I've always been entrepreneurial, and it's always been a dream of mine, not only to pursue my own interests, but also create spaces for other people to also find their own purpose and ambitions within business and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So I'm an entrepreneur, I am a speaker, I am a content creator, I'm a business developer, I work with businesses in the townships, introducing them to new technologies, introducing them to the internet, introducing them to social media, and utilizing my skills to help grow their businesses.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, that's who I am.
That's dope, man. Like I said, we're very happy to have you here.
Oh,
and so we posted that we were going to be in the studio.
Sure.
And a lot of people have been sending through their questions.
Okay.
And we're looking forward to your insights.
Sure.
On that. So it says here you are an inspirational speaker.
Yes.
So I hear a lot of people say motivational speaker.
Yes.
I've never heard someone say inspirational speaker.
Yes.
What is the difference, and how would you say what is an inspirational speaker?
For me, it comes from the root word inspire.
Yeah.
When you're motivated, and motivation is a good thing.
Yeah.
You're motivated to do something. So you're motivated to run. You're motivated to be healthy. You're motivated to build a relationship. So it's about doing. For me, inspiration is about being. It's about who you are and how that lives across in everything that you do. So when I speak about inspiration, I really want to bring the best out of people and use that as a foundation for them to build a life or build a business or grow from there. So the word inspire for me resonates strongly more than motivate. Because I believe if I inspire you and awaken the person that's innate in you in terms of your potential and ambition, I would have done more than just motivate you to do something.
And what inspires you?
Everything. Particularly people.
Yeah.
And my purpose being to empower, my purpose being to inspire, my purpose being to uplift. I am here because of other people who believed in me, who spoke life in me. So if I can be those shoulders for other people to stand on, that's what inspires me.
Cool, man. That's interesting because I'm looking at one of the things that starts someone's inspiration or journey to entrepreneurship is that inspiration.
Yes.
To say you have an idea or you have something that you want to do.
Yeah.
And it also has a lot to do with your self-awareness.
Yes.
And as I've been listening to you, you're talking about something that is innate within you, something that you really want. It's like a conviction within yourself.
100%.
To say, this is something that I really want to do.
Yeah.
And I think it plays a huge role in the execution of your ideas.
Yeah.
I really want us to go into the questions that people have been sending.
Okay.
I would love to talk to you all day.
Sure.
But, I really want this to be valuable for the listeners.
100%.
Me and you can talk after this.
No problem.
And then, okay, let's just go to some of the voice notes, if I can just find them here. Okay, well, there was one on Facebook.
Okay.
And the question was, okay, firstly, okay, the difference between being an entrepreneur and being a business person. And the second one is the same person. Are people born with the purpose or passion of being an entrepreneur, or is it something everyone can learn?
Okay. So for me, entrepreneurship, I see it as both a disposition in terms of how you view the world and your outlook, and also a process in terms of what you do with what you see. So if I walk past a street, all right, a normal person that sees kids that don't have shoes will say, oh, look at all those barefoot kids. An entrepreneur will say, I see the problem. What solution can I provide? All right? What idea can I innovate? All right? And then that translates into business in terms of, can I create a shoe business or a shoe company? So it encompasses you viewing the world in a certain way, where others see problems, you see opportunities, where others see challenges, you see ideas and innovations, and then taking that and creating a viable, commercially viable entity out of that. All right. Yeah. So it encompasses both your outlook and you being able to monetize whatever idea that you come up with.
I hear you. I'm sure you know Jack Ma.
Yes.
Jack Ma says, where there are problems,
yes,
there are opportunities.
No, 100%.
So
if you want to make a lot of money, the money lies where people are not willing to do the things, or where people are not willing to work. Yeah. So where there's areas where it's difficult and not a lot of people are willing to go there, that's where the biggest opportunity is.
Yeah. And if you work hard enough to be the best at solving that particular problem,
100%.
You become a Jack Ma or an Elon Musk.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's go into some of the voice notes. Let's see.
And I mean, while you're looking into that, I do fundamentally also believe that entrepreneurship is something that can be taught.
Yeah.
There are people who are born with certain personality traits that bode well for entrepreneurship. So there are people who are confident. Maybe they are good communicators. They have affinity to take risks and take action. But at the same time, there are people who are shy and who are not great communicators, but have built phenomenal businesses. So yes, there are personality traits that do bode well, that help you, but at the same time, entrepreneurship, I fundamentally believe, is a skill that can be taught, and there are certain practices that if you do often enough, build the kind of muscle required for you to become an entrepreneur.
Well, okay, let's go into the voice notes that we have here.
Good morning, Molebatsi The Great and Mr. Moloi. All right, good day, sir. Good day, sir. I have a question actually. I must say, I actually want to open a business like such as a butchery, like popping grilled chisanyam and a car wash as well. Different from other car washes. I can say that because on hand, I have a good proposal, a business plan, I must say. So it's very unique and different. Different ethics, different objectives and aims. So I want to know, because as Overexman, with the minimum salary and responsibilities, it's not so easy to open to finance that particular business, honestly. So so I just want to know, how do I get some financial aid in order to improve and to enhance and to also start a business? Yeah,
I think we can cut it there.
Okay.
I think we get the
question.
Yeah.
It's a very common question, very popular question, a question that I get a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Before I decided to venture into full-time entrepreneurship, doing what I do, I was a banker. I was a banker, and my primary job was to look after people's wealth, to help people become wealthier by helping them build their balance sheets.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing when you study wealthy people is it's not more about what they have, but it's about what they do with what they have that makes them wealthy. All right? So I can give Molebatsi 100 Rand.
Yeah.
that 100 rand might be worth 100 rand or even less, because Molebatsi will go and buy, whatever he wants to buy. Shisanya.
Yeah.
Or I can give 100 rand to someone that has a mindset of creating wealth.
Okay.
And he will take that 100 rand, and now that 100 rand in the hands of that person is worth more because of what he's able to do with that 100 rand. So that's what I learned in entrepreneurship. It's seeing what you have and then thinking to yourself, what can I do with what I have already before you can start seeking for more. So the same is true with funding. Before you seek funding, investors want to see what have you done with what you have already.
Okay.
If you have this idea, okay, what can you do today to act upon this idea?
Yeah.
All right? Have you done research? Have you spent a lot of time in butcheries and abattoirs and shisanyamas? Have you traveled? Have you finessed the art of braaiing, of cooking? Do you know different grades of steaks? How in depth are you when it comes to this business? Do you live and breathe it?
Okay, let's say I am there. I'm
Yes.
doing it. I'm learning about braaiing. I'm learning about
100%.
shisanyamas, because you can hear me say different from all the other shisanyamas in the
Yeah,
country.
yeah.
Let's say he is in a position where
Yeah.
he is putting in that work, and he is struggling financially
Yeah.
to start.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's the challenge. The challenge is a lot of finances, 99% of finances that I've acquainted with, 99% of investors that I interact with on a day-to-day basis do not fund startups. If you have an idea, you need to start it.
Yeah.
If it means that you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you turn the oven on at home, you grill a steak, you take that steak, you sell it at work, and you create a business model out of that, then you do that. But it's important that you take the initiative first and you get started. And once you've started, even if it's on a small scale, you refine and you build a business model out of that.
Yeah.
Investors will fund businesses. So the first thing is, even if it's on a small scale, start. Right? Even if it means buying a drumstick, one drumstick, and you go and you grill it, and you take that drumstick and you sell it on the corner and you sell it somewhere.
Yeah.
And people will validate that, yes, this tastes great and I'm willing to pay money for. And from there, you build a business out of that. And that's how you attract investing.
I hear you. So start your own, like put yourself on first.
100%. Get some skin in the game.
Yeah.
Because as an investor, I back the business, I back the horse, and I also back the jockey.
Yeah.
All right? It's both. I can't just back the horse. I need to also back the jockey. And the only way I can back the jockey is if the jockey also has put in some skin in the game. So,
and it also shows how bad you actually really want.
100%. Because everybody wants success. Everybody wants a business. Difference is how bad do you want it.
And I think the reality that sometimes people don't see with entrepreneurship is that it's really difficult. It's really hard. It's a lot of work.
It's extremely tough. I tell people that I wake up at 4 a.m. every single day, on weekends, on holidays, and I work. Because that's the cost. You got to be willing to go months, years without an income. People thinking you're crazy. People telling you, how can you quit your job to do this?
Yeah.
But it's you seeing a vision and a future vividly, and be willing to do what it takes now to get there.
Yeah, man. Let's go into the next question. That's very interesting. Let's hear what it says.
Hi, Kerenze Wakutube, and my question is twofold, based on the stat that 80% of new businesses in South Africa fail within the first 5 years. I just want to know, what are the common mistakes that entrepreneurs do that their businesses must fail, and the reverse of that is that what should we continue doing as entrepreneurs so that our businesses are not part of the statistic. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. Very, very good questions. I think what I've observed commonly is the reason why people start businesses is to make money as quickly as possible. All right? If you come in with that mindset as an entrepreneur, you're setting yourself up for failure. All right? So if you're going to start wanting to make money as quickly as possible, already you're going to do things and make a lot of mistakes because you're going to trip yourself up and you're going to fail. my key thing is creating value, right?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta find means and ways to either help people, right, to empower people, or provide value for people,
Yeah.
right? Because value is something people are willing to pay money for,
Mm-hmm.
right? And if you fundamentally believe in something, that's why I speak about inspiration. It needs to come from innately who you are, because if it's one with who you are, it's something that's going to come naturally. It's very difficult for you to start a business that's disconnected from who you are, all right? If I'm not analytical in my thinking, and I'm not savvy enough with money, and I don't understand finances and investments, then all of a sudden I want to start a banking business, or I want to start a forex business, or I want to give people consultation because I've seen how much money I can make. I'm more than likely to fail because my idea is very detached from who I am and innately my abilities.
Yeah.
So one, you got to be self-aware, know who you are, and that's going to speak to the kind of ideas and solutions you want to provide in terms of real value you want to add for people. All right? Number two is you need to start. Okay? The most important thing is that actually failure is part of the process.
Yeah.
If you're going to be an entrepreneur, you need to understand that you will fail. And that's actually a good thing. So the mindset that you need to have towards failure, you need to see it as an opportunity to learn. The reason why successful entrepreneurs are successful entrepreneurs is because they're constantly learning.
And they've failed
Over and over and
Yeah.
over. I mean, we know the famous quotes by Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
He says he's missed so many shots. He's, missed so many game-winning opportunities and all these kinds of failures that he's done. And he's successful because he's failed over and over again. That's the same with entrepreneurship. You fail quickly, you learn so that next time you can fail better. And you keep on failing. So the reason why people are actually not successful entrepreneurs is not necessarily because they fail, but it's because they give up
when they fail.
Yeah. All right? So you got to develop the thick skin to say, okay, cool. I've messed up. I've dropped the ball. This idea isn't working. It's not generating the cash flows I need. How do I learn and adjust? How do I pivot? How do I find my next point to move from that point?
I also like what you said when you said it has to be something that really comes from deep within you.
Yeah.
Something that is in line with who you are.
Yeah.
So people need to be self-aware.
100%.
That's what you said, Jorge. You can start a business.
Yeah.
And when it's something that you are truly, what you believe in,
Yeah.
something that you really believe in, and you are, because when you believe in something and it's in line with who you are more willing to sacrifice.
100%.
Because business does need you to, sacrifice a lot. You've been talking about how early you wake up, how hard you work. And so I like that.
You need to continuously learn from yourself, but also learn from other people. If I wanted to do what I do by myself, it would have taken me much more longer than seeking out guidance and mentorship from other people. So it's very, very important that as an entrepreneur, that you're not only learning from yourself, but you're also learning from other people. And you're building networks around yourself.
Yeah.
And you're able to tap into those networks and leverage from different resources that they provide.
Since you're talking about mentorship, I was going to come into that later, but I'm like, we can go into it now.
Okay.
How important is mentorship?
Yeah.
With regards to entrepreneurship, opening your business, and
Yeah.
how important is it to have a mentor?
It's extremely important, and it's probably one of the reasons a lot of people don't really, make it or really, live out their potential or really maximize what their businesses could be because they want to do everything by themselves, and it's wise to learn from your mistakes, but it's even wiser to learn from other people's mistakes. There are people that have walked the road before you, and in the world that we live in today, there's no novelty of ideas.
Yeah.
There's just novelty of people taking action. It's just a shortage of people taking action. And the only way you can take action is through guidance of other people who have walked before you, who can guide you and point you in the right direction. So for me personally, across all aspects, not just in business, whether it's your career, whether it's spiritually, whether it's your relationships, it's so important to get mentorship from someone who is wise, that you trust, and who understands the road that you're going in, and who can guide you accordingly.
I think there's a quote by Robin Williams,
Okay.
and he says, "The reason why I can see further is because I stand on the shoulders of giants."
Yeah.
I really like that quote. So another question on mentorship is, how do I get the relevant mentors in
Yes.
my life? Let's say I want to learn.
Yes.
I want to start doing and
Yeah.
learning. Where and how can I find a mentor?
Yeah. So the first thing is you have to be explicitly clear
Yeah.
what it is that you're looking for
Mm-hmm.
in terms of mentorship.
Yeah.
So what kind of outcomes are you requiring? You know, what kind of lessons are you looking to get? Because mentorship is a relationship that you contract with very specific objectives and outcomes. If it's wishy-washy and you just want to be with someone that knows more, it's very difficult for you to get the most out of that person, right? So the starting point is you being very clear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do I want to become financially literate and manage my finances better? And managing my finances
So
better.
know the skill that you're trying to
100%.
acquire.
Yes.
From that relationship.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the skill will point you to their expertise.
Yeah.
All right. Once you're clear on whether it's your career or business or spiritually, the areas of growth or developments that you're targeting, then you research. You know, you research either the experts in that area or, you know, utilizing your networks, you reach out to say, you know, who can I talk to? These are the areas that I'm looking to grow, and I want to contract with someone. You know, I use the word contract because it has to be a binding relationship, and you have to set out agreements on yourself to say, you know, within this time frame, I want to achieve X, and this is the person that I believe, you know, can help me with that. And then you reach out. You know, you reach out, and you know, if the answer is no, the answer is no. You don't know until you ask.
How can you... So a lot of people have networking difficulties.
Yes.
And I think networking is one of the best ways to build relationships. It is
Yeah.
the best way to
It
build
is.
relationships and get to know people that can help you on
Yes.
your journey. So what advice would you give to people that are not doing it and want to know, how do I start this journey of seeking people?
Yeah.
The networking skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get out of your comfort zone. You
Yeah.
know, get out of your comfort zone and set yourself targets. You know, if I wake up in the morning and I say, look, I want to reach out to one person. You know, I want to reach out to one person, whether it's on social media. You know, I want to send them a direct message. I want to send them an email. And you put yourself out there. That's the only way you can grow. So you need to take the step to put yourself out there. The second thing that makes networking powerful is know the value that you can add, especially in
To
a
the
business.
relationship.
100%, especially
Yeah.
in a business setup. So if you're an entrepreneur and you see a gap, you know, in terms of services that you can provide for that person, that's an angle. And you got to use that to create a relationship that's mutually beneficial. To say, I see you can provide X, I can provide you with Y. Can we connect? And from there, that's how you build and grow. But it's about putting yourself out there. And once you put yourself out there and you actually engage with people and realize that they're people and realize that they have their own frustrations, they have their own insecurities, then you actually are able to overcome whatever insecurities you have about yourself and connect that much more better. Because that's all it is. You know, relationships are your currency. And the more you can build, the more you can grow.
Interesting. Let's go to another voice note. It was sent through WhatsApp, and let's hear what it has to say.
Sure, the great. Ngicela nje ukubuza umbuzo to your guest for the day. Number one is I've got a transportation business, so I'm based at Soweto. I do children's transportation, small logistics, and staff transportation. So what would be the best way for me to market since I am based at Soweto? And then number two, when I'm approaching new clients, perhaps what should be the most essential things that I make sure that I cover in order to best impress the client that I am presenting to?
All right, cool. Look, for me, the most cost-effective way to market your business today is social media, right? But there are certain rules and processes that if you don't understand social media, you can end up doing yourself a disservice. So I always say, you know, have a clear social media strategy, all right? So are you present on all social media platforms? Are you there on Twitter? Are you there on Instagram? Are you there on Facebook? Do you have a Facebook page? All these resources are readily available. So spend some time. If you can spend a
So your advice would be to be present
on social media.
All
100%.
Okay.
Right? If you're a business in 2018 and you're not on social media, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. Right? You're being left behind by competitors. You're not connecting with your constituencies, who are your customers.
I mean,
and you're
people
not learning.
spend the most time on their phones.
100% for a reason.
Yeah.
So you got to be where people are.
Yeah.
So the first thing is, before spending a lot of money on big campaigns, just be present. And that will allow you to hear the voice of your consumer base. All right. And that's the other thing is understand who you're targeting and understand where they are and where they're going to be. All right. And then once you're present on all social media platforms, that will point you in the right direction in terms of which platform is actually best suited for your business. All right. So if it's a transportation business, where online are people searching for transportation companies or logistics companies to use? And am I there? And is my voice loud enough for people to hear it? All right.
Am I accessible? Am I
100%.
easily accessible?
Yes. Right. And you got to live out your brand. Right. So everywhere you go, it's an opportunity for you to brand yourself. So yourself as the owner and operator of the logistics company or transport company, make sure that you're well branded. Make sure that your transports are well branded. And the service is critically important.
Yeah.
So the service needs to be really, really above par so that you can use that as a differentiator. What are you doing when people are in your vehicles that is giving them a service that they haven't experienced before?
That's the value part that
100%.
you're talking about.
Yeah, because that is the anchor that you use to build a proposition. It needs to be a value-based proposition. And that's what you communicate from a marketing perspective. You don't just make noise to say, hey, I have a transport business. You actually say, hey, this is the value that I provide. Therefore, support my business. So start with value, understand it, and use it as a differentiator. And from there, there's various tools and tricks that you can do to lock in customers and lock in repeat businesses. But be on social media, understand your value, and use it as an anchor point.
There's one thing that I like about a lot of successful entrepreneurs, and most of them being like your big people, is that whatever they do, they always strive to be the best in the world.
Yes.
Not just in their area.
100%.
They always strive to be the best at what they do.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you're obviously going to provide more value.
100%.
Your marketing people will market you.
Yeah.
Because, it's like any other thing. If you hear a good song, like a really amazing song, and it hits you, you want to share it. You're like, this is amazing. Or you just got a good service from a store, from a taxi, from anywhere.
100%.
Home affairs. You're like, you know what? Let me just post this.
Yeah.
I just got amazing service from this company or this store. And yeah, man.
Definitely. And sometimes it's not the big things. It's the little things.
The little things
that make a difference. So it speaks about being true to who you are and doing the things that you can excel in. Jim Collins wrote a great book called Good to Great. And then he speaks of companies that went from good to great. And you can be good at something, but you need to desire to be great. And the only way you can be great is not trying to do everything, but doing the things that you absolutely know that you can be the best at. And that's why it's very important that if you are an aspiring entrepreneur, you're not seeking just to make money quickly, but you're seeking to build businesses where you can be the best in that industry or class or area, wherever you operate.
Nice. Let's go into another question. Let's hear what it says.
Hi, Thabo. You're speaking to police. So I'm working a full-time job at the moment, but I really want to go into business. So I was advised by a friend, well, not just a friend, but a few people I've listened to, entrepreneurs, who advised that I should, most of them said I should build capital, which is probably still why I feel like I'm still stuck in the job. But there was another man recently I listened to who said I shouldn't spend time trying to build this capital.
And integrative thinking is about, not looking at ideas in isolation, but looking to see how you can integrate them. So the answer is, ask yourself, how can you do both? How can you start your business today while working and build capital? All right? And it's about looking at the hours that you have in a day, looking at the hours that you spend in the office, making sure that when you're in the office, you maximize in the office. You're not on social media, you're not spending company resources, chatting on the phone, but you're actually working to make sure that you deliver what needs to be delivered. But when you're outside of working, if you're spending 8 hours, you got, the remainder that you need to maximize. And what are you doing with those 16 hours, when you get home? And you are you reading? Are you researching? Are you spending time on the internet? Are you building a business?
Are you investing in your idea? Yeah.
Because, like I said, it's important that you start, and you start early so that you can fail, and from your failures you can learn, and then from there you can build a model that will put you in a position to say, actually, there's a real business here.
So, with regards to his confusion, he's saying, do I need to build capital, or do I just, because he says he got advice, he's just start.
Yeah. So my thing is do both.
Yeah.
Right? Is start on a small scale so that you can fail and build a model around that. While you're doing that, you're saving and investing. You're putting aside finances to ensure that you can reinvest into your business, and you can make sure that you can take care of your household. So it's working, it's starting, but while you're doing that simultaneously, you're reserving capital.
All right, cool. Let's check another question and see.
Hi. My question is around entrepreneurship, and I just want to know what advice would you give to an entrepreneur about getting through difficult times in their business, especially if the business is a startup or just starting up? Because it gets really challenging in the beginning when, people don't really know you, sales are slow. What advice would you give? And then also, I would like to know, what advice would you give to an entrepreneur around the finances of a business? What are some of the steps that you can give us, 1 or 2 points that are key points in terms of managing or handling the finances in a business? Thank you.
All right. I think the most important thing is to make sure that you're feeding yourself with as much positivity as possible. All right. So, what inputs and people are you allowing to speak into you? Are you listening to tapes? Are you listening to shows like this regularly to get inspired and make sure that, you're learning from other people? Are you reading books? Are you reading books about, self-awareness, about your industry, about your businesses? Because there are going to come times where it's extremely tough, where, cash flow is running low, where business is not coming in. And those are a real test to say, do you have the character to see it through? And the only way you can see it through is if you have enough, positivity and impetus in you to help you go through those hurdles, And it's important that, you stay grounded. A lot of entrepreneurs go into business and they want to impress people. You get a little bit of business, you get a big contract and you want to show.
You want to buy a car, you want to...
So it's important that, you stay true to yourself and you stay humble. When you're humble, it's easy for you to ask for help in the difficult times. So always stay true to yourself, always stay humble, so that when times are tough, you can reach out for help. It doesn't make you a weaker person, but it actually makes you stronger because you strengthen those networks. So that's the solid advice is stay true to who you are, stay humble, but make sure that you're constantly feeding yourself
with positivity.
Make sure that you're constantly reading. Make sure you're constantly listening to tapes,
that you associate
podcasts.
with.
100%. The environment that you're in, it plays a big part in how you ride those difficult and tough times in business.
I think she had another question about finances.
Yes. So finances are really, really important. You get great entrepreneurs who have fantastic ideas. They can take action, they can sell, they can connect, but they're really bad with money. So those are the basics that you need to get right. Whether you teach yourself or you connect yourself with someone who's more financially savvy than you that you can trust. So being able to read an income statement, being able to read a balance sheet, understanding cash flows. Those are fundamental aspects of business that are crucially important, because men lie, women lie, but the numbers don't, right? And the numbers tell a story.
Yeah.
So you need to teach yourself to have a firm grip on the numbers. I always tell people that even before you go into business, treat yourself like a business. So if you're a salaried employee person and you're looking to go into business, how you handle your finance, you need to handle it the same way you would in a business. So do you have an income statement for yourself? Not a budget, an income statement. Do you have a balance sheet for yourself? Do you have a cash flow statement for yourself? And when you teach yourself those principles, then it becomes easy for you to go into business, to become, financially savvy, But it's important that you're cash positive. So make sure that you got cash flow, Even if you're running at a loss, you're reinvesting, so you're building your asset base. And your asset base, as it grows, will generate the returns that are required. Those are the basics. You're not spending more than you're earning, and you're utilizing what you're earning to build more.
Yeah. So you're always investing the most of your income back into the business.
100%.
And you're not trying to show off.
100%, especially as you're starting out.
Yeah.
Because you're building for the long term.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying, if you want to go into business but you want to make money quickly, you're going into it for the wrong reason.
And it goes back again to the sacrifice factor.
100%.
Be willing to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Be willing to eat, to spend the least.
100%. Be willing to turn down invites.
Yeah.
To say, hey, gents, I can't go to drinks with you.
Yeah.
I can't do this. And every cent and rand counts.
It does, yeah.
Do you know where you're spending? And can you account for all your finances?
Yeah.
And once you have a real grip on your money and your finances, then you become savvy with the decisions that you make.
All right, let's go to the next question.
Hi everybody, my name is Andy from Edobsenville, Soweto. Short Thabo. One thing I'd like to know from you is, so actually you're doing a lot of things. You're a teacher, motivational speaker, you're in business.
Yeah.
And so I bet there are people in this lifetime who actually want to do many things in life, but can't because they don't have time. So my question to you is, how do you manage your time? How do you juggle up between the work you are doing?
Look, it's one word, it's discipline.
Yeah.
I don't buy that people don't have time. I just think they're not disciplined with their time. Because, there are people who, with the same 24 hours you and I have, do an insane, even more than I do.
Yeah.
Because they've disciplined. So, time is the most valuable resource that you have. You can make money, you can lose it, you can make it again. But once time is gone, it's gone. You're never going to get it back.
Yeah.
So you need to have a big appreciation and value time and build disciplines around it. So for me, I knew what I wanted and I was willing to do what it takes. Like I said, I wake up at 4 a.m. By the time it's 8 and you turn on your computer, I've done so many things. I've woken up, I've exercised, I've meditated, I've prayed, I've researched, I've read, I've planned the day, I've budgeted, I've set targets, because that's what I'm willing to take, and I've built the discipline around it. Even before I left full-time employment, that's what I was doing, because I knew that once I leave.
Where do you get that drive? Because sometimes we all want that discipline. We all want to be there. We all want to see ourselves becoming the best versions of ourselves. But where do you get that push, that drive, that keeps you to constantly wake up at 4,
100%.
meditate, do all the necessary things, to get into the state?
Yeah. Look, I just want it bad enough, and...
Can you teach someone to want it bad enough?
Like for me, like I said, what motivates me is, where I grew up, and, my peers and the environment, and wanting to utilize everything that I've been afforded in life, all the opportunities that I've been given, the education that I've received, my experiences, the people that I've connected with, wanting to utilize that to make as big of an impact as possible. We live in a country where the unemployment rate is staggering.
28%.
And it speaks to how we've got so many job seekers,
and
we don't have enough job creators.
Yeah.
You know, so we actually don't have a high unemployment problem. We actually have a low entrepreneurship problem.
Yeah.
And that's what inspires me to become an entrepreneur. To be like, okay, here's the problem, which actually is an opportunity for me to create employment prospects.
Well, there's a lot of problems. There's a lot of
100%.
opportunities.
And that is
Yeah.
what drives me. You know, so that is what wakes me up every morning. That is what keeps me going, you know, and I'm able to build a discipline because that's what I want badly, you know. So it's not about being seen, it's not about wearing fancy clothes, driving the nicest car, living in the biggest house. That's a byproduct of pursuing your purpose that comes from an innate passion. So you gotta look deeper than just wanting to be seen and look at the impact that you want to make. Because once you're significant, success is inevitable. But don't strive for success, strive for significance. And the disciplines come as a decision that you make. You know, you got to decide and say, this is the person I want to be, and this is what it takes for me to become that person.
And you're willing to do that.
Everybody wants it. But how badly do you want it?
Man. So I've seen you share on one of your videos, you talk about game plan, focus, research, and strategy.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate more on that?
Everything comes as a game plan, right? You know, if you see a girl that you like, and you're like, you know, I want that girl. Liking that girl isn't going to get her to go out with you.
Yeah.
You know, liking it is not enough. You know, people that have desires and think having a desire is enough. You got to have a game plan, all right? You know, focus. If you're doing too many things and you're trying to approach all these girls all over the place, you know, you're not going to get any of them. All right? So focus on the one thing that is true to who you are. All right? You can do many things that are linked to who you are. So focus and be resilient around that focus. You know, don't be deterred, don't be distracted. And a lot of people don't get to where they are because they get distracted. Along the way, they see nicer
so many
things.
distractions, man.
And that's the girl. You know, you see other girls and you get distracted. You know? Research is so important. You know, you have no excuse in the technology age that we live in today. Because information is abundant. You know, you open your smartphone and there's information on anything. Right? Everything that I'm saying is readily available out there. You know, so it's critically important that you do the research, you know, and you get the insights and information that will guide you, right? And then strategy is just about the steps you take towards the destination you ultimately want to get at. You know, it's about I want to go to Mauritius. You know, how much is Mauritius costing? You know, where do I book a flight? Oh, it doesn't need a visa. Right? So it's about taking the steps required for you to get to ultimately where you want to be. The steps come as a result of the research that you've done. And you would have done the research because you're ultimately very focused. And that's a game plan. And 9 times out of 10, people don't get what they want out of life, not because they don't have the desires to, but they don't have tangible game plans. So get a notebook out, start writing. Have a target for yourself, have a goal. Have deadlines. And do the research around those deadlines so you know what steps you need to take.
All right. So it's all, when you look at the entrepreneurial fame and just the interest in entrepreneurship lately, it's starting to, like, it's gaining a lot.
Huge.
Entrepreneurs today are like rock stars.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
you
crazy.
look at, you know, especially like Silicon Valley people.
Yeah.
So, and it creates this desire for people. You know, when people see something and people becoming big and becoming stars, you automatically kind of get attracted to that, and you want a piece of that. And maybe sometimes you don't really want to be an entrepreneur, but you like what you see.
100%.
From, maybe you see Thabo Moloi, you're like, this guy is cool, you know. I want to be like that. But it's not really who you are.
Sure.
And you can actually be a good manager in a company. You can be a good soccer player. You can be. So what advice do you have on people being business minded and entrepreneurial minded in their thinking, but also filling the positions that they are good at?
Yeah.
You know,
the biggest advice is anything that attracts you, calculate the cost of that in as much detail as possible.
Yeah.
Because the cost will indicate whether you have the stomach for it or you don't. All right. So if I see someone who's buff, he's got a 6-pack, got a body of a Greek Adonis, and I want that, it's important to calculate the cost. What is that person eating? Their program, how they measure their calories, their exercise regime, how much time they spend in the gym. And those costs will speak to me to say, okay, actually, this is not for me.
Do you know Elizabeth Gilbert?
No.
She's the author of, I think, what is it? Eat, Pray, Love.
Okay.
And she says that it's not just about what you want. It's about what you are willing to suffer for.
Yes.
What you're willing to say, okay, I want this, but am I willing to eat the crap that comes with
100%.
Getting that goal?
So for me, before I took the decision, to say I want to be an entrepreneur and I want to do this thing full time, I had to mentally condition myself to be comfortable with the fact that for 2-3 years, I might not make any money.
Or even more.
100%.
Yeah.
Be comfortable with the fact that, there's not going to be an SMS coming in at the end of each month telling me that a salary is going to be paid in.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any provident fund or retirement annuity, life insurance, car insurance, medical aid. You condition yourself, and after conditioning yourself and you've built the mental muscle, then you go into it, all right? So for me, and entrepreneurship is broad, it translates majority of the time into business, but there are entrepreneurs who are managers in businesses, who are taking risks on behalf of the businesses, who are innovating, who are finding new opportunities. So just because you don't own your own business doesn't necessarily mean you can't be an entrepreneur. You can't innovate as a soccer player. You can't innovate as a doctor. You can't innovate as a businessman, as a manager in a business. But it's about finding which avenue speaks more to you based on the costs that you're willing to pay.
Interesting. Let's go back to the voice notes.
Sure.
We have another one here. Let's check it out.
Morning, The Great. Morning to everyone listening as well. Yeah, this is Zuritsepile. And I have a question for Mr. Thabo Moloi. I mean, you are a business teacher, a motivational speaker, and then you're a mentor, and then you embody all these positive aspects about life. And then, I mean, I know that's really not easy, but we look up to people like you. So my question is, what would be the simplest advice to give to anyone?
Okay.
Yeah, but I think I just got the gist of it. Look, I'm not trying to be anyone else, and I get compared to a lot of people, and it humbles me that I'm even mentioned in the same circles or same sentences with those people. But I'm just trying to be the best Thabo Moloi that I can, and I don't get it right every day, and I'm humbled enough to learn, and I'm humbled enough to understand the development gaps that I have, and I work on it every day. So I made a decision to say, this is who I am, and this is how I want to show that to the world, and the simple thing is, it's just about knowing who you are. We spend a lot of time researching other people. We spend a lot of time reading about other people and dating other people. Have you dated yourself? Have you taken yourself to a movie and just to know who Molebatsi The Great is, or know who Thabo is, and know what frustrations he has, and know what wakes him up, what triggers him, what gets him going, because once you know who you are and you fall in love with who you are, then it's easy for you to sell that in different ways. All sales is selling yourself.
True.
Because when people buy into you, they will buy into anything you're selling. But it's difficult to sell yourself if you don't know yourself. So what I do that helps me is I spend a lot of the time meditating. A lot of time.
What kind of meditating? Is it like, sitting in the chair with your hands, like folding your legs?
It's going into a quiet time where you're in tune with your voice and you can hear yourself. You can hear yourself breathe. You can hear yourself think.
And you do this every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
All right. Because I need to find a place where I go back and I recenter so that it gives me the drive and momentum to keep going. All right. So that's what works for me. So find what works for you, but find a place and time where you can shut everything out. You can turn off your phone, you can turn off social media, turn it all off, and just look within. There's a lot of things that are shouting out there that are trying to tell you who you are.
Yeah.
And if you believe them, then they own you. So that's why people are addicted to social media.
Yeah.
And they're addicted to all these things because those things have told them who they are and they've believed it.
So where do I start? Like, if I'm somebody who is affected by people's critics, affected by people's opinions, I'm afraid of what people think of me, I'm not confident in myself. I'm just, I wouldn't say confused per se, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I want.
Yeah.
I don't know who I am. I've been living in this life for a very long time, and I'm getting at a point where I'm even thinking of just, giving up.
Yeah.
Feeling like maybe this thing is not for me.
100%. Right.
Where do I start?
The starting point is always gratitude, right? I know that sounds very different, but the starting point is always gratitude, right? You have to realize just how lucky you are to be alive. You won the lottery of life. If you look at statistically, the odds of you being here alive today are just ridiculous, astronomical. It's just unbelievable. The fact that you are alive today, you have won the lottery of life. You have to be grateful.
Yeah.
Right? And when you start with gratitude, it puts you in a disposition that's much more positive and puts you in a disposition where you're ready to receive of yourself first before seeking to receive from others.
Yeah.
All right? What I mean by that is, if I'm grateful for life, I will count the things that make me grateful. All right? And then I will realize that it actually comes from within. The fact that I can breathe, the fact that, I have a family, I have friends, I have an environment where people care about me, whatever the case may be, the fact that I'm alive today, I have survived so much.
That's a blessing, Jay, in its own.
It's a blessing on its own, So be grateful, And when you're grateful, that will build in you and ignite the flame of positivity, all right? Because a lot of people are discouraged. A lot of people lack hope. And all these things feed into insecurities.
There's a lot of people who commit suicide.
100%.
The suicide statistics are crazy.
And the reason why people are spending so much time on the internet, addicted to pornography or addicted to social media, or all these addictions is just the people's desire to connect. We have an innate desire to connect, and connect in a meaningful way. When I'm grateful, I realize the blessing that I can be. When you're grateful and you're positive, innately you want to share that. When you want to share that positivity, you're in a position where you can make meaningful connections. Now I'm not meeting you just to show you who I am and show off or see, and I ask you what you do so I can measure your level of importance. No. Now when I meet you because of the value I want to add. And that meaningful connection then grows. And I start creating this whirlwind of positivity that just grows and manifests into other avenues. Yeah. So for me, if you're struggling with insecurities or struggling with, low self-esteem or you lack confidence, get a notebook and a pen. Start listing the things that you're grateful for. There's a weird thing that I started quickly in my old job.
Yeah.
A gratitude jar. I literally got an empty jar, put it in the middle of the office, said this is a gratitude jar. Every day, you're going to write something that you're grateful for, you're going to put it in the jar. You don't have to write your name, just put it in the jar. If you're having a bad day, or something is happening in your life that's affecting you, just grab the gratitude jar. Just read stuff that people are grateful for. Did that for a few months, and it just changed the environment completely.
Yeah.
That's the power of gratitude.
That's very interesting, man. So we are out of time.
Out of time.
It feels like it was just, a few minutes.
Yeah.
But man, thank you so much
No,
for
thank
coming
you for
through.
the opportunity.
To all the listeners, thank you so much for your questions. Thank you for, just tuning in and listening to our special guest today. We here at Joyous Radio wish you all the best, Mr. Moloi.
Thank you kindly.
We hope that your endeavors may be successful. The Lord may continue to bless you.
Thank you.
And I don't know if you have any last words that you want to share with the listeners.
All right, so if you want to connect with me, I'm available on all social media platforms.
Yeah.
I am Thabo Moloi on Instagram. I am Thabo Moloi, one word, on Twitter. My Facebook page, I am Thabo Moloi. You can also catch my videos on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and search for Thabo Moloi Productions. And I would also like to learn.
Yeah.
So watch my videos. If you have any insights, have any thoughts, please drop your comments so that I can grow and I can learn from you, and then let's connect.
Thank you so much, man. Good people, my time is also up. Thank you so much for listening. What I would like to say is, let's create an environment of positivity, an environment of gratitude, and an environment where we work on ourselves.
Yeah.
Work on learning more, gaining more skills, learning your strengths, being aware of your abilities, because as we're talking about entrepreneurship, you need to know your strengths so that even when you mix and collaborate with other people, you work with people that are good where you are weak, and self-belief. That's a big one. You need to believe in yourself, and you constantly have to work on yourself to gain that belief in yourself. From me, Molebatsi The Great, thank you so much. May the Lord continue to bless you. Joyous Radio, the internet radio that restores our hearts and comforts our souls. Have a beautiful Wednesday. Ke le rata bo botlhe. Aware.